I'm Harry Dotson. I'm the president of the Fairgrounds here in Sonoyta. And we're here today to celebrate the recent renovations of the kitchen here in Pioneer Hall. This is a project that's been ongoing for several years, and it has only been possible through the tremendous support and generosity of our members and the community at large. As a board, we wanted to make this video for your use as a member to highlight what we have been doing for the last few years. In a few minutes, I'm going to ask Paul to step in and give you a tour of the changes and the updates. But before we do that, I would like for him to join me so we can do the ceremonial ribbon cutting. So Paul, please. You'll notice that we're using the appropriate tool for the job. Whoa! Thank you, Paul.
Thank you for asking.
Welcome. My name is Paul Brosite, and I had the distinct honor of showing you around the new project here known as the renovation of the kitchen. This has been a project in works since 2017. There's a lot of reasons for that. Most of them are that it's seen its wear and tear. A lot of the appliances have broken down, and a lot of people have wanted to use the kitchen facilities because it had wanted a commercial kitchen to do all their fancy cooking. Plus, there were lots of grants available to us for helping to pay for the renovation. At this time, I'd like to start showing you around, and I'd like to go to what we called phase one of the project here, and come with me. Phase one was established because once we got involved in designing the kitchen, we found out that it entailed more work, more construction, and more money than we had thought. So we decided we would break it down into phases. And phase one of the first things in phase one was designing this bar. You can see we have a nice facade. We have nice countertops. We have an ADA countertop over here, which allows disabled people who have need wheelchair access to use our counters. One of the other things we did is we put in this nice storage pantry here, which allowed us to secure all our smaller items. And also it allowed any kind of activity we had here. We could store our liquor and anything valuable overnight or for any long periods of time, so we didn't have to race around and set it out. We also have a panel here where we're able to work all our TVs and all our sound equipment from here. And we don't have to constantly bring it out and damage the equipment. So come along here, and I wanted to show you a few things that most people don't get to see the back room here. Even though this is open to the public if they wish. This is where a lot of the work was accomplished by tearing down walls and putting in these wire racks. So you can see that here's one wall. This has kind of amazed me when they decided to do this. One of the walls came here, so we only had this much space. So they decided they would just move the walls out instead of rebuilding it. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. And you can see we had to do all the new electrical, and here's the electrical panel that shows how much work we did, type of thing. So again, this is lots of work back here for phase one. Now let's go into the main kitchen here and show you what needed to be done. One of the things we were smart enough to do is we got a lot of community input. We got the health department input. We've got the building inspector's input. And of course the board members and the kitchen committee's input. But what I always like to think about is when you're dealing with the health department, you always got to think about having to be things washed down and sanitized. So we had to put up all this RPF siding here in order to meet code for the health department. Come this way. Another thing that the committee decided on was what kind of equipment could we salvage here. You know, most of our large appliances were really old and run down, and we had a couple old refrigerators, residential refrigerators that wasn't holding temperature, and the health department says that'll never pass if you want to become a commercial kitchen. So let's take a look at some of the appliances here. Or in this case, it was sinks. We salvaged this sink. We needed to have a prep sink, so we used this as the prep sink. You can notice that next to it we have hand washing sinks. We had to put in 4 hand washing sinks in order to meet health department criteria. Okay. Next, we have the flat tops. Two flat tops here that we saved from the old kitchen. One of the things we needed to improve on was this range or oven here. This was purchased new. Another one was the freezer over there. And look at the big one over there. We were lucky enough to find some that could repair that refrigerator at a nominal cost compared to what a new one would cost. So that was quite a savings. Let's see, where else? Come this way. Another one of our hand washing sinks that the health department deemed we needed. And then we salvaged this 3-basin sink here, you know, washing, rinse, and sanitizing type of thing. But one thing I learned while doing this project is these French drains. One of the reasons the cost was getting kind of expensive is because we had to cut through all this concrete and put in these French drains, which is basically a gap that doesn't allow water to come back up, the drainage water to come up back into the sink. Now the big outlay. We just passed it, we went under it, would be this exhaust hood. This exhaust hood was one of the reasons it took a while to get this project completed, because it was very costly and we needed a lot of expertise to install it, which we didn't have in this small little community here. Fire suppression was here. These had to be hooked up to the swamp coolers and all sorts of interlocks that needed to be performed. Let's see what else. We're walking on it. The floor had to be redone. It had to be cleaned. It had to be sanded, and we had to paint it. So that was one of the last things we did. And on the way out here, you can see we had to put in new doors. They had to be out. They had to be going outward, and we had to put in these panic bars in order for that to meet the fire code. Let's see, what else, you know. We had to put a special sealant on this countertop, and that's about it. But you can read about this. We'll have stuff posted on the Fairgrounds Facebook and stuff, so stay tuned.